guys, welcome back to Urban Rhino Tutorials. On this tutorial, I want to show you how to make color adjustments using the Adobe Photoshop filter Camera Raw. So when you want to make specific adjustments to an image, so for instance, if you want to change the white balance, or if you want to specifically adjust, let's say the eye color and make it go from blue to green, or you want it to pop, stand out more, Camera Raw is a great tool. So I have a picture open here. This is the finished photo. This is what I started with. So you can see the difference in how much her eyes and skin and everything pop in this picture. So going back to this original, I'm going to show you how you can make those adjustments in Camera Raw. So what you would want to do to begin is create a duplicate layer, and I always do this just to have like a clean version. That way, if you don't like the changes you've made, or if you need to brush off your changes in some areas, then you have a top layer so you can do that. So from here, you want to go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter, and that brings up Camera Raw. It's almost like its own separate little program. And from here, what I'm going to be working with mostly is the adjustment brush, but I just want to show you, since we're talking about color adjustments specifically, and I have a whole nother tutorial on just how to use Camera Raw in general. This one's more specific, so make sure you check that one out if you're unfamiliar with Camera Raw. But when you pull up a picture, you can adjust the overall color from here. So for instance, right now it's slightly yellow. If I wanted to bring that temperature down just a tad, I could. So let's say to about there. If I wanted to make it the tint a little, a little more pink, I could do that as well. From here, I'm going to go to the adjustment brush. So first I'm going to zoom in to her eyes. She has the prettiest little eyes. When she was born, they were blue, and now they've really changed to this kind of greenish gray that I love. But I'm going to go to the adjustment brush, and you can do a couple things here. You can whiten the white of the eyes. You can change the color. You can make their lips, change the color of the lips. This is where I generally go in and change skin colors. So if you've ever seen my tutorials or my photos of what would be a good example? Frankenstein or Poppy and Branch from Trolls. Those ones where their whole skin is a different color, I have used Camera Raw to accomplish that. So right now, all I'm going to focus on is just changing the color of her eyes and making the white of her eyes pop. So to do that, to begin, I'm going to set all my controls over here to 0, just to kind of clear them out. Okay, and then what I want to do for this is I want to lower the saturation. So the brush that I'm getting ready to use, I want to lower to the saturation so that it removes any yellow or red in her eyes. And I'm going to up the exposure a bit so it makes them a little bit brighter. Now when I go over these, and sometimes I kind of do more than what I think just so that I can see what I'm doing, and then I'll adjust it from there. If you need to zoom in or out, when you zoom in, it's going to kind of click off of that adjustment brush, so make sure you go back to it and select, this is called a pin, make sure you click back on that. So I'm just going to go in here and whiten these up, and yes, I'm skipping the corners. I'm going to make my brush smaller and get in those areas, and I'm aware that this is much brighter than what I need. So let me make my brush smaller and get in these little spots here. And like I said, I like to do brighter or darker or whatever than what I need, just to see what I'm doing, and then I'll adjust it once I zoom back out. if you need to brush off any area, like if you go onto something you didn't mean to, just hit the erase tool and you can do that. So when I zoom out, as you can see, yes, they pop, but yes, they are too bright. So when I click back on that little pin, and if you want to move the pin, you know, take it off of there so you don't see it, just click the overlay button here. But I'm going to lower that back down. I don't want it to be so bright. Kind of like that. Okay. So from here, what I want to do is make her eyes, the eye color really stand out. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to create a new layer brush, and I'm just going to pick some random color for now. Again, just to make them show up for right now. Oh, that's pretty. I tell you what, I've done her eyes about every single color I can think of, and they are just always so pretty. She has the best eyes for editing. I might be biased, but I don't care. So again, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Well, not that much. Let's go kind of, yeah, that'll be good. So what I want to do, I think I did want to zoom back in, is bring back up that adjustment brush that I was working with, and I want to make sure I'm selecting the right pin, so this one. And then I like to click the overlays back off. I don't like looking at them, they're distracting. And what I'm going to do is find the color that I want, mess with the contrast, the blacks, highlights, shadows, clarity, sharpness, saturation, all of that stuff I'm going to raise. So I'm going to start by raising the saturation quite a bit. I'm not going to keep them blue like that. I'm going to raise the sharpness. I love for them to be super sharp. The clarity, and you can see how that affects the brightness of the eyes. And then I really like her kind of bluish green color, so I'm just going to enhance that a bit like that. I'm going to raise the contrast a bit. That's going to make the blacks really black and the whites really white on the eyes. Any highlights, if you want to mess with those. Any whites that are in there, if you raise that, that's just going to make them more white. And I think that's pretty good. Again, sharpness, I'm going to keep all the way up. Clarity, it's going to make it, you know, more clear, but the clearer you go, the darker they get. So you have to kind of offset that with the exposure. So like that. So now, maybe down a little bit. Now, when I hit OK, so you can see this is before. Let me zoom in a bit. This is before and this is after. So just those little adjustments have made a huge change, a huge impact on making her eyes pop. I do have in the Photoshop Actions on our online store, under the Live and Viv Retouch collection, I have some brushes that will do this very quickly for you. Just a couple swipes over the eyes and basically you get the same outcome. So you might want to check those out if you have not already seen those or if you don't already have those. But as far as using Camera Raw, though, that is a great tool, a great asset to have here as a filter within Adobe Photoshop. So I hope that tutorial helped. If you are unsure or unfamiliar with Camera Raw, make sure you check out our other tutorial on just kind of getting familiar with it. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you stay connected with Urban Rhino on social media. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and of course, subscribe to our channel.